Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. Breaking news, Martinez has been announced. As you can tell, it is breaking because I've literally just got out of the shower and had to go live now. But Martinez is officially a Manchester United player, officially Eric Ten Hag's third signing after Eriksen, and I'm really happy that he's signed. There was a lot of talk about the money that he signed for, but now we've got the official pictures and we can get stuck into a conversation on how Martinez is going to impact Eric Ten Hag's team, how he's going to help Manchester United do better than last year. You've got to be better than the defensive partnership last year. You've got to be better than that defensive line. Get stuck into what his strengths are going to be. What do you think he's going to complement in this team? How do you think he's going to play Eric Ten Hag's system? A player that has played Eric Ten Hag's system in the past, and he did win Ajax Player of the Year last year. So we've got a very good player on our hands, someone that is really suited to Eric Ten Hag's system. And yeah, everyone in the comments, my hair is still wet. I have literally just got out of the shower. So that is why, guys, we've got to go live no matter what. So yeah, this is the state right now. And we've got some quotes here, and Murto has said, Lisandro Martinez is an outstanding player who will bring further quality and experience to Eric Ten Hag's squad. And Murto has said, we are delighted that Martinez has chosen to join Manchester United, and we are looking forward to seeing him develop further and help the team achieve the success that we are aiming for. And you've got a picture of him up there, and he has officially signed for Manchester United. And hopefully we'll get to see him upcoming in some games coming up as well, and we'll get to see him just before the season starts. Potentially, will he start at Brighton? Get your comments in down below. Beth, fresh out of the shower, true dedication. Of course, it has to be, guys. We wouldn't have a video if not. So, this is what has got to be done. And apart from the wet hair comments, because I can see a lot of them coming in as well, it's not my greatest look. Getting the chat down below. What do you think Martinez will bring to the team? Do you think he will start with Maguire, or do you think he will start with Varane? And we had Mark on the show yesterday on the 2 p.m. show, taking a little break out of his holiday, and he said that he thinks he'd rather Martinez start with Varane, but we think inevitably he will start with Maguire. To be honest with you, in pre-season, I've seen Maguire be better than he was last season, but by no means does that mean he's actually good enough to be playing this Manchester United style that Eric Ten Hag's bringing. And I think that's the important thing. We've got Martinez in who just things about his height that we'll get into later. I don't think you have to be a tall centre back to be successful in the Premier League. We've not had many small centre backs, but you know what? Koundé could potentially be coming to the Premier League. It looks like he might go to Barca, but there is small centre backs now becoming very good centre backs. So I don't think that would be an issue. But when you're looking at who he's going to partner Maguire, if he does partner Maguire, what you've got to say is Maguire has got the aerial ability, and Martinez has got the strength, he's got the speed, and I just think he will massively improve Maguire's game. Do I think Maguire is good enough in any way, shape, or form? No, but it would be an improvement on Maguire and Lindelof. It gives other aspects. Maguire and Lindelof don't complement each other. They're both pretty slow. I don't think Lindelof is quite physical enough, and you've got a player now that can play Eric Ten Hag's system, can play the high line, and I think he's going to complement whoever he plays next to. Going to play on the left side, left-footed centre back. It's clear that Eric Ten Hag wants a left-footed centre back, hence why he's been playing Tellers there in the pre-season games when they alternate to the second team squad. And thinking Martinez is just going to slip into that left-hand centre back role, and that is how he is going to play. Sia Ferguson says Maguire does not have any abilities. He has aerial ability and he's got potential there. I don't think he's a completely useless in the centre back role. I think we can utilise him. Do I think he should be starting and do I think he should be captain? From what I've seen, no. Do I think he could adapt to Eric Ten Hag's style? I can't see it because I don't think he has the pace, and that's something you can't teach. It really is a shame that Varane is so injury prone, and he does keep getting these injuries. With Varane, I was saying, if you can get 1, 2, or 3 consistent games out of him and take it from there, I would be playing him for them games. And I know that centre-back partnerships are about building a partnership together and knowing each other, but Varane is just so so ahead of Maguire. You've got to utilise him when you can. We saw last year, and I'm not just Maguire, Lindelof as well. You saw last year in games when we played for Varane, we looked so much more solid at the back, and that's because he has the experience. He's won stuff. He's not got that naivety in his game, and I think also his pace as well helps a lot, and hopefully Martinez will be able to bring that too. Anson says too short. He's not too, right. Martinez, he's 1 inch smaller than Timber, who everybody was jumping on and everybody wanted. And I think Martinez is a little bit more experienced than Timber. He is that few years a little bit older than him. And you've seen centre backs that have been good enough that height. I mean, we had a Ballon d'Or winner who was a short centre back. You've got to remember these things, and you've got to. And people say you've not seen a short centre back succeed in the Premier League for a very long time. Well, there's always a first time for something, and I think someone's height you shouldn't really you can say it might not make him as physical against the likes of Haaland, against the likes of Kane, but you can see from his stats, his aerial ability is as good as anyone's. His stats are very, very, very good. So I think until he gives us reason to discriminate against his height and say that he's not good enough as a centre back because he's not reaching them aerial duels that he should be reaching and because he's getting bullied off by Haaland, Kane, and for example, Antonio at West Ham, these very physical forwards. I don't think we should be saying automatically that he's not good enough to be able to do this. You've got a quote on screen there saying, Martinez, I want to thank Ajax and their fans for all of the support they gave me. I had an unbelievable time there, but now I feel like the moment is right to test myself. He really wants to come to this club. He wants to work with Erik ten Hag. We know he was pushing the move. And also, you've got to remember as well that this guy, he rejected Arsenal for us, and that's not a big achievement. A lot of players have rejected Arsenal. We've seen Rafinha reject them. We've seen other players reject them. But it's at this point when Manchester United are at, there's not many players that want to come to us. We've seen it with the De Jong saga. We've seen it when we go out into the market. There's not that many players that want to come and play non-Champions League football in a team that's just been the worst ever point tally. So to have a player that really wants to come and really wants to join, I think it's really important. And you can see that his attitude's there. And that's a really important part of a player. You want someone that really wants to put on that shirt, that really wants to battle for Manchester United. And I do think that this guy could become a fan favourite. And if he brings the attributes that he's brought to Ajax and he says he's going to bring, I definitely think it's a step in the right direction. And it shows it's a good example to set to everyone else in the dressing room as well. He's going to fight for every ball. He's aggressive. He's a winner. And I think we'll be able to see that on the pitch too. A super chat here from Ifran Ecolif saying, this gives us a solid back, but the midfield is crying. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You can have the solid back line, and I think Dalot, Varane, Martinez, and Shaw, I'm happy with that back four. I know people have different opinions about Shaw, but I think if he's at his best, I'm very happy with that back four. When you look at the midfield and your only options are Donny, Fred, and McTominay, and most likely it's going to be Fred and McTominay, this is where we've got to invest into the market. We really do. We've heard the De Jong news come out. I'm not going to walk over old ground on that yet, but he doesn't want to come. Erik ten Hag's put all his eggs in one basket, and I've actually seen a lot of people saying today, and I have to agree with it, that we are blaming the board for this De Jong saga, and we're blaming Barcelona, but Erik ten Hag is the one that's pushing this. And he's telling the board, this is my only option. I need this player. And the board are going out and trying to do everything they can to get this player. I'm not giving the board any credit whatsoever because we should have had alternatives and we should have been going for other players and still trying to get De Jong. But Erik ten Hag seems set on this player, so I'm hoping that we'll end up getting him. But at the moment, I would say I'm in the camp where I don't think it's going to happen. I know Barcelona want to push him out, or else they can't officially add Lewandowski and Rafinha, but the midfield is it's we know it's something that we need to improve on, and we know it's where battles are won and lost in games, and that's the thing. You can have a solid back line, you can have a great forward line, but you need that midfield to be solid. We've seen improvements under Ten Hag, but you're not going to be able to turn water into wine, like we've said multiple times. Andrew says, top signing, centre back, CDM, and a left back. Yeah, he can play multiple positions, which is really important to point out as well. We've had players like that before in Daily Blind. I'm not really a fan of players that play here, there, and everywhere. I think you should specialise in one position and be the best at that. But Martinez, I think, will play centre back under Ten Hag. We can see that he's going to come into that left-sided centre back position. But in certain games, and if we need him to, and for example, because of the lack of depth in midfield and because of the lack of quality, if we got injuries in midfield, we could resort to using him in that midfield role. It could be an option. So it's always good to have that option, but at the same time, I'd really want him, if he's going to play left-sided centre back under Ten Hag, I'd want him to hone in on that and really focus on working in that system. And left back, I mean, there was rumours that Arsenal were signing him as a left back. He could, because he's so good with the ball at his feet, and that's a really good quality of Martinez, how good he is with the ball at his feet. But I think we will be seeing him as a left-sided centre-back. Contrary to a lot of people thinking that he was going to be a CDM for us. I mean, a lot of people had that theory going on for quite a while, but I think he will be a left-sided centre-back. David Lees, it's not about the size, as long as he is a warrior. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. He's going to give everything out there. He's aggressive and he wins his aerial battles. So we've got to judge him off his performances, not his height. Leaf Alwyd says 3 more and we're done for now. Ziyech, Dumfries, and Ruiz and Tillemans. See, I'd love 3 more signings. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you can see the Anthony and De Jong thing. They're the ones that are heating up. I think it's going to be, if we would be very lucky if we get both. I think it could potentially just be one or the other, which you put that into perspective. If we have a summer with Malacia, Eriksen, Martinez, and De Jong, I'd be like, that's a decent transfer window, but I could have done with a forward and I could have done with the right back. We have a transfer window with Malacia, Martinez, Eriksen, and Anthony. I'm saying, why on earth have we neglected the midfield once again? We can't go another transfer window without getting a midfielder in. We just can't do it. It would be insanity to go into this season without signing a midfielder, and this is why I'm worried about the De Jong news. Not we are talking about Martinez now, but the De Jong news is worrying me because it seems like it is him all or nothing. Yeah, exactly. Murto there, he will bring further quality and experience. And experience is something that I think he will bring. He's that little bit older than Timber, who we were looking at, and he's won. And he might have in the Dutch league, but he's won it. And it's always good to have players with trophies under their belts, no matter what you think the qualities of them are. You've got to have players that are used to winning trophies and have that mentality to win. Size, a lot of people saying size doesn't matter. Exactly. Oh, oh, you've tripped me up on that one. But oh, you've tripped me up on that one. But yeah, the size of Martinez doesn't matter. Yeah, I have to. Oh, I have to agree. Rid says one of them will join in January. I don't think. Again, we don't seem like we go for signings in January, and it would be ridiculous to go for signings in January. We've got to get these players in now. We've got to start this season off right. This lead up before the World Cup could make or break a season. If we don't do well in this, and then we go out to January and get players in, and then we might manage to recover the season, you would think, what if? What could we have done? And it's unlikely for players to really want to make that move in January as well. So I don't think that's how we should be planning. We should be planning to get these players in now. Mark Nurse says, Beth, why is no one mentioning the fact Martinez has more Champions League experience in the semi-finals against the top teams? Why is everyone classing Premier League experience above Champions League experience? Well, that's the thing as well. He has got Champions League experience, and I think it's really important. Obviously, you have them pundits out there, and you have them people out there that says you've got to have this Premier League experience. When it was the Poch over Ten Hag, it was Premier League experience. Has Poch got that? Poch has got that Premier League experience, so why aren't you getting him? I think you've seen multiple managers and multiple players come to the Premier League without being in the Premier League before and doing exceptionally well. And I think having that Champions League experience, playing at the top level in Europe, is absolutely vital. So I don't think you should really... Personally, you can listen to who you want, but people saying you have to have that Premier League experience as a centre-back to come straight in and fit in, I don't agree with. Liberty Move Heart says Marcus Rojo 2.0. He does remind me of Marcus Rojo slightly. I think he's got a lot more quality than Rojo. I did really like Rojo because of his physicality, because of how aggressive he was, and he always fought for the shirt. I mean, it was red card Rojo, wasn't it? He had a red card up his sleeve at a lot of occasions, but he did give everything, and he wasn't even that good ability-wise. Martinez seems like he's got that aggressiveness in him, and he's got that desire to win, and he's got that hunger, and potentially, I don't mind if a player I want a player to have that. I want the player to be a bit aggressive. I want him to go out there and be physical, especially with his height and with taller defenders. You've got to go out there and mark your ground. You want forwards to come on the pitch, and you want to have that reputation where they're scared of you. They're scared of going against you. If he's soft and as a small centre-back as he is, you're not going to get that fear. So you've got to get that fear into the attackers. And I think apart from the aggressive attributes that he shares with Rojo, I think that he's got more technical ability. And I think what we'll see in the Premier League as well is, I think a lot of people will be surprised. We won't be surprised because we've watched him a lot through knowing when he was coming to Manchester United, getting linked to Manchester United. We've looked at his stats, we've looked at his attributes, but I think a lot of people that haven't looked into that will be surprised at how good he is with the ball at his feet. And that's one of the main reasons that Erik ten Hag did want him in, because Erik ten Hag wants centre-backs that can play the ball out, centre-backs that are going to distribute the ball through the team, that is going to work with the midfield, not just sit back and wait for attackers to come onto them. He wants to be driving at teams, pressing at teams, and that's what Martinez will be very good at. And he's got very good passes in him as well. You can look at some of the assists he's got for Ajax, the way he gets forward as well, and the way he carries the ball. I think he's really going to add something. And players like Rashford as well, who like that long ball over the top from the likes of Lindelof, could really benefit through Martinez too and his passing. C says he's more calculated than Rojo. Exactly. Like, even though he's aggressive, you can't completely compare him, and obviously the Argentinian background, but he's got more technicality, and I think he'll definitely be a more successful player. That dude says the energy and heart Martinez and Malacia brings will show you all how Fred was surrounded by trash. Well, that's the thing. We want players with that good attitude, and we want players with that hunger. And even if we want players that are technically good too, but even if they aren't quite at the top level technically, you get a lot more respect off the United fans if you're going out there every week and giving it some and giving your all. And that's why we were all so disappointed last year, because not only were these players underperforming on the pitch and technically and just performance levels, they were also underperforming with attitude, mentality, aggressiveness, looking like they wanted to play for the football team, running. That was something that we were barely seeing at the end of last season, when we were thinking, why are these players putting half the effort as the opposing team? And with Ten Hag there, and with players like Martinez and, for example, Malacia as well, players that might not be quite at the top yet. I mean, Martinez is obviously a lot more developed than Malacia. You'll see it rubbing off onto the other players, that attitude. And that's what Ten Hag's trying to bring. He's trying to bring a squad together of players that have that mentality where they will run themselves into the ground, have the mentality where they're out there to win, be aggressive, and leave everything out there on the pitch, which is something that we haven't seen in quite a long time. And it really has been disappointing, because that's what Manchester United's all about. Obviously, it's about winning, it's about being attacking, but you also have to leave everything out there on the pitch, and we didn't see that last season. Thank you for the lovely comments as well. People saying keep up the great work. I really appreciate them. Obviously, I'm not going to read them all out. It'll just be a show kind of feeding ego, but thank you for them comments as well. They don't go unnoticed. And not sure if I can trust him with his right foot. Yeah, but he's left-footed. That comment. He's left-footed, so I don't think I'd trust Maguire with his left foot. He's right-footed. Do you know what I mean? It's like players sometimes have got a better dominant foot. That's just the way it is, and we need a very good left-footed centre-back. So I'm happy that we have got him. Beth, please talk about our 59 net spend at the end of July. It's honestly, we've got to be happy about this signing. I said it on the Eriksen video yesterday, and I'll say it again here with the Martinez video. You've got to be happy with the signings we've got. I think Eriksen is a good signing. I think Martinez is a great signing. I think Malacia is a good signing. I don't think he's going to massively influence the team this year, but he's one for development, and I think in them Europa League games, you can definitely see him develop, someone that Ten Hag wanted. But to only have them 3 players in now, for me, probably one first-team starter, potentially Eriksen as well. We just don't know how Ten Hag's going to play him. I think it's the start of a new era and a start of a rebuild, and the project they were all selling to us with the board changing, no more Woodward regime, all of this stuff that gets put out into the media and gets put out to the fans. I just think actions speak way louder than words, and that's what you're seeing here. We can't go into this season with just these 3 signings. We really can't, especially when the clubs miles ahead of us are being more ambitious than us. If Manchester United really want a new start and a rebuild and want to give Ten Hag their 100% backing, then they need to put more money into this transfer window, and they need to get Erik Ten Hag the players that he wants. And I know they're trying to work on the De Jong deal, but while the De Jong deal's stalling, why aren't we going in and getting Anthony? And if Anthony's too much money, why are we not looking at an alternative winger or an alternative forward? I mean, come on now. I know people are a bit dubious spending 80 million on Anthony because he's only just really started to get to that top level, and there is a lot of a difference between the Dutch league and the Premier League. But if we don't want to spend that money on Anthony, personally I would, because I think if Erik Ten Hag wants him, he can see him building this future with him, and he can see him being part of his squad and making an impact. But look for someone else, get someone else in, don't just stall and hang around, especially with the likes of not even knowing if Ronaldo's coming or going, looking like he's going after the tense meetings, and him and Erik Ten Hag not really seeing eye to eye in that meeting, and Ronaldo being adamant he wants to leave. We've got to get working in this transfer window. It's disappointing. I don't want to turn up to Brighton at home and see the exact same teams I saw last year, whether it's changed or under Ten Hag or not. You need to add competition for places. You need to make sure these players don't get settled, and you also need to add quality and depth, especially with the 5 subs coming in this season. Karim says, it'll be really disappointing after all our talk. We don't get significant players in and the deadwood out. It would just serve to highlight how bad the recruitment team is. That's what I mean as well. Like, and it's not only just about incomings. Why have we got players there that are never going to play, that are sitting on 80, 100 grand a week, that aren't going to play football and aren't good enough to play for the football team? Why don't we try and get some money for them? Whatever you can get for them, and whatever that money you bring in, at least invest it into someone who is actually going to have a chance to play under Ten Hag and is of the good enough ability, or even a younger player that can progress and have the chance to get into the team. These players that aren't going to be part of this Erik Ten Hag rebuild, we need to be looking at getting them out. And an example of that is Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. Like, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's been a debatable one for a while. He came in, he had that really good spell. There was still question marks there whether he could work on his forward ability and getting forward and being that attacking right back. And then last season, the end of the season before last, and then last season, it was just a really, really bad season for Wan-Bissaka. We could tell that his ability to get forward wasn't improving, and his defensive ability was on decline as well. I think the reason why he'd looked so good defensively in the past is because of his tackling ability. His positional sense is really off, and his aerial ability isn't good either. So I think you've seen in pre-season, we heard before pre-season started that Erik Ten Hag wasn't interested in Wan-Bissaka being part of his squad. And we've seen in pre-season that he's barely really had a minute. He's had a little bit of game time, but absolutely nothing compared to the likes of Dalot. And even Ethan Laird was playing games as well. It wasn't, Dalot probably got, Dalot did get the most game time. Laird and Wan-Bissaka kind of sharing out the second amount of game time. We know that he doesn't want Wan-Bissaka as part of his plans. Why aren't we going and getting someone to pay some money for him. And someone would, a club out there would take Wan-Bissaka. We just have to take a massive hit on the 50 million that we bought him for. But again, we should be taking that hit because he's not going to be part of Ten Hag's plans. He's not ever going to be able to play the system that Ten Hag wants, which was with attacking fullbacks that are good on the ball. He's not good on the ball. At this point in his career, you can't really teach that. So you've got to be looking to get rid of these players that aren't going to be part of the Erik Ten Hag regime. For anybody who's just tuning in now, yes, Martinez is official, and I have just got out of the shower, as you can tell by my hair and by the fact I've literally just completely got out the shower, and yeah, everyone's pointing that out. So if you've just tuned in now, best wet hair, and also Martinez has officially signed. You've got the pictures out, you've got quotes coming out, and we're here to bring you the latest news. Quote there on the screen as well. Martinez saying there will be a lot of work to get to that moment, but I firmly believe that under this manager and coaches, together with my new teammates, we can do it. A very good attitude to have, and he knows what Ten Hag's capable of. He's worked with Ten Hag before, so he knows what Ten Hag can bring to this team. He knows that Ten Hag is going to be reaching for the top possible level, and he wants to be part of that. And we want players that want to be part of that. And do you know what? This might come back to like be clipped or whatever when Timber does eventually go on to be a very, very, very good centre-back. But I'm glad we got Martinez and not Timber. And the reason why I'm glad is because I want a player that does want to play for Manchester United, has the confidence in himself that he is going to be playing first-team football. I don't want someone that's scared to come because Louis van Gaal's had a chat with him in the Dutch camp and to think, oh, I might not get game time over Maguire and Lindelof. You've got to back yourself further than that. So I'm happy that we've got Martinez in instead. He seems like a lot. He seems like he wants to play for this club and he's going to give everything, which is really, really important. Please Ten Hag pick Bailly and Martinez. Do you know what? A lot of people would want to see that partnership. A lot of people would want to see that. And the reason I think a lot of people would want to see that partnership is because Eric Bailly has similar attributes. He does give everything on the pitch. He's aggressive. He's quick. He's good on the ball. And I think Eric Bailly has been really unlucky to get the lack of game time that he's got. And I said yesterday on the show, if Bailly was getting picked, I wouldn't have a problem with that if he could stay fit. He scares me in the fact that I do think he could make a rash decision and it could potentially cost us a red card or cost us a penalty. But I've not seen Bailly do that in a very, very long time. And he has been playing. He has been getting a couple of minutes here and there. And every time he's played, he's put in very, very good performances. So it baffles me, that one. I don't know if it's because he is so injury prone. I don't know whether it's because managers just think he is a liability, but I would welcome that partnership as part of the squad. I think it could be really good. I just think Bailly, Varane, I think Varane is the top one for me, but Bailly does offer a lot of the similar attributes, and I think he every time I've seen him, I think he's done a very good job. I'm interested to see how good Martinez is in the Prem. He's going to be up against big, strong, fast forwards. Yeah, he is going to be, and it's going to be different, and it is going to be a test for him. And I can't sit here now and say Martinez will definitely be successful in the Premier League against the likes of Haaland, against the likes of Antonio, against the likes of other big forwards that the Premier League has natively had. But at the same time, he's played, like we said previously, at the top end of the Champions League, at the top end of European football. And he's got Ajax Player of the Year last year, and they won the Dutch league. He's got great aerial ability. You just look at his stats, and yeah, it becomes different when you're playing in the Premier League, and it's a lot more aggressive, it's a lot higher pace, the quality is just a lot higher. But you've got to take a step up in your career at some point, and I think he definitely has the ability to take that step up. And I think we'll have to wait and see how well he does. It might take him a little while to adapt, but I don't think Ten Hag would have brought him in if he didn't believe that he could do it and he didn't believe that he could adapt to this level. Besides Haaland, Scamacca and Nunes, who's he handled before? It's not about who he's handled before. It's about he can only do what he's had the opportunity to do. He's not had the opportunity to play in the Premier League yet. He's only had the opportunity to play in the Dutch league, and he can't do anything more than what he's done. Got Player of the Year and won the league. Like, you've got to allow him to have the step up and show you what he can do. I've got to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm trying to be positive around this signing. Finwell says, if a player is excited to come to United, then get him first. Frankie de Jong does not want to play for us. United's board is a logistics company. Well, that's the thing. I really like players, and it should be standard. I really like players that want to play for us, and that's the good thing about Martinez. He wants to play for us, and I agree with you on the De Jong thing. It really is starting to frustrate me how little he does want to play for us and how much he does want to stay at Barcelona. It really is disappointing, but Erik ten Hag wants to keep pushing. He wants to get him, so I think you've got to push on what Erik ten Hag wants to do, and that could be a mistake. It could be, but it's a risk. I can't wait to see Martinez rattle. Did Ajax not smack Dortmund up in the UCL group stage? Yes. Yeah, Ajax did really well in the Champions League last year, and they've had a history of doing well in the Champions League under Erik ten Hag, and that is the top level of European football. So he's had that opportunity. He's done very well in them situations. I think he has the right to take the step up 100%. I think he's got the ability there. He's left-sided, which is what we've missed out on for a long time. And I think he's going to bring some really good attributes to Manchester United. Aggressive, quick, very good on the ball. He's going to provide assists, can move the ball through midfield. And again, he can play a couple of different positions as well if that is needed. And it might be needed if the board can't get De Jong over the line and we can't get another midfielder over the line, because we don't seem to be getting linked to anyone but him. And we've heard time and time again that's the only player Ten Hag wants. But Ten Hag's got Martinez in, he's got Eriksen in, he's got Malacia in. Who do you guys think will be the next signing, and who do you guys think is on their way to Old Trafford next? And also, who do you want to be the next signing as well? Make sure you like and subscribe.